Can you see Noah's Ark over there? Come on, look closely. Hello everyone from Yerevan, the capital of Armenia. It's an absolutely gorgeous day here in the capital. Gorgeous sunshine. Not too warm, I have to say. It's about 16 degrees Celsius, but warm enough for a Springbok jersey and a t-shirt underneath. And I just want to show you this view of a city here from the Cascade Complex, which I'll talk about a little bit in a second. But there you have a legendary Mount Ararat, which is where Noah's Ark is, according to legend. And here you get an idea of the buildings of a city as well, a fantastic vantage point here in Yerevan. And as I said, I'm here on the Cascade Complex, which is the main tourist attraction of Yerevan. And it's made of limestone. And it was completed in two parts. So the first part was during the Soviet times, from 1971 to 1980. So at that stage Yerevan and Armenia was under Soviet control. And then there was a second part as well that occurred in the 2000s. So I think from 2002 to 2009. But it really is certainly very conspicuous in appearance, and all around here you've got works of art, sculptures and monuments, and also down there you can see there fountains and flower beds and other sculptures as well. It's quite a steep walk up, but I cheated a little bit, so I used the escalator in the Cafesjian Center of Arts, which is also down there, and its escalator takes you up all the way here. Well, I say up all the way, you can still go up to the main monument there, but the view from here I bet is just as good as the one from on top there. And we are quite lucky seeing Mount Ararat actually today as well. So let me tell you a little bit about the name Yerevan and its origin. So early scholars connected it with Noah's Ark. So Noah, apparently, when he was parking his ark over there and when the flood waters receded, he shouted Yerevats in the direction of Yerevan. And in Armenian, Yerevats means it happened. So that was what the early scholars thought. But subsequently, the conventional wisdom now is that Yerevan derives from the Erebuni fortress, which was founded in 782 BC. I was astonished to read and to find out in my research for this trip that Yerevan is older than Rome. So it's one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. So it is quite old, and which kind of puts to shame my comment I made about Tbilisi being an old city from the 5th century. This is 8th century BC. This is a completely different level. So yeah, you get another view of the Cascade Complex. So there were several rulers of Yerevan over history as well, including the Persians and of course the Russians. And just going back to the name again, so some scholars also think that the name Yerevan ultimately derives from Yerevan, which was the name of a city during Persian rule. And when the Russians took over Yerevan from the Persians, so during the conquest of Yerevan in 1827, they named the city Yerevan, and obviously subsequently became Yerevan in 1936. However, despite the name change to Yerevan, I believe that at least in the English-speaking world it was still referred to as Yerevan in some places up until the mid-1970s or so. So, bit of history there. And this for me is very interesting. I don't know too much about this though, so if someone in the comments could confirm for me what it is, that would be great. But I think that is Zoroastrianism at display, the Zoroastrian sign. And yeah, you get another view of the Cascade Complex, or Cascade Steps. And Yerevan, also known as the Pink City, because there are a lot of pink buildings in the city. So the reason for that is that it's built from volcanic tuff, which is a volcanic ash that turned into rock, which gives many of the buildings a pinkish color. So potentially maybe that one over there, I think. And certainly when we'll get to Republic Square later, you'll see a few more of those. So I mentioned the Russians captured Yerevan from the Persians in 1827. So the Russians have had a hand in the development or the history of Armenia and Yerevan. And certainly it was part of the Soviet Union as well. So you'll see lots of Soviet-style buildings as well in the city. And the year 1918, as was the case with Azerbaijan, is important year in Armenia, and not just the year, but also the date 28 May, which you'll remember was seen as the Independence Day of Azerbaijan. And on the 28th of May 1918, Armenia also declared its independence. But in 1920, the Red Army invaded Armenia again and started the Sovietization. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but the Sovietization of Armenia started. And Armenia was part of the Soviet Union until 1991. And the interesting thing about the year 1991, of course, is that the Soviet Union ceased to exist eventually on the 26th of December that year. But earlier in the year, on the 17th of March, there was a referendum in the Soviet Union which basically asked a question of the member states, the republics, if they wanted the Soviet Union to continue. The question was a little bit longer than that, but I'm simplifying it for now. And 6 of the 15 constituent republics boycotted the vote, including Armenia. So they did not take part in that referendum. Instead, they had their own separate referendum on the 21st of September that year and voted overwhelmingly to leave the Soviet Union. And so they actually became an independent state on the 23rd of September 1991. So 21 September is celebrated as an Independence Day year in Armenia. Just giving you another view here of some of the art you can find. There's just over 1 million people in Yerevan at the moment, but it wasn't always a very populated place, or didn't always have a lot of people. In fact, from what I've read, around 1914, so around the start of World War I, there were only about 30,000 people in Yerevan. So during the Russian Empire, it was very much a provincial town here in Armenia. But of course you had the Armenian genocide in 1915, and a lot of people moved to the city as a result. And also during Soviet times, the city expanded even further. So the population has increased quite a bit over the years. And yeah, more sculptures here. And obviously it's not just summer yet, but you can just get an idea of how the layout is, with all the flower beds and the green park space there, and obviously lots of coffee shops and restaurants and jazz bars in this part of Yerevan. I've been told that Armenians really love coffee and that they drink coffee consistently and constantly. More people taking an Instagram shot, and why not? This is an absolutely beautiful part of Yerevan. Like I said, the picture postcard of a city. There are people planting more flowers for the summer months. Here's some more art, teapot. Now here is a very interesting sculpture. And this guy's having a good time, enjoying himself. Yeah, here's another look at some of the coffee shops and restaurants and jazz bars. So in terms of first impressions, I have to admit, I did not expect it to be this bohemian and eclectic. Here is a map of Yerevan, mostly around the sort of center area, and the staff at my hostel just kind of circled some of the key places that they think I should see. So no specific plan, but why don't we walk towards the city center and see what we can find. So yeah, we say goodbye to the Cascade Complex for now, and to Mount Ararat at the back there as well. We can't see it now. The other thing I should mention about Mount Ararat is that it's actually in Turkey, in far eastern Turkey, but Yerevan has very much adopted it as its symbol. The other thing I've noticed here in Yerevan is the cars and the large number of smart and luxury cars in the city. And as we walk around, I want you to notice the people as well, the way the people dress. In general, they dress very, very smartly, and I did ask someone at my hostel whether or not this is true or if it's just my imagination, and they said no, it's true. Armenians like to show off and they like to impress others, so have a look at the way that people dress in the city. And that's one of the pink buildings here in Yerevan, made from volcanic tuff. So talking about fashion and popular culture, of course the Kardashians are descendants of Armenia. They're from Armenian descent. So that begs the question, does Armenia dress well because of the Kardashians? Or do the Kardashians dress well because of Armenia? Let me know your views. Here's the Yerevan Tourism Information Center. Looks pretty shut. At least I got a nice map there. But yeah, so the Tourist Information Center is shut in every place in the Caucasus I've been. And yeah, lots of trees and beautiful walkways here in Yerevan. Check out these pedestrian crossings. Here you've got a green man and the time that you got to cross exactly. So very, very organized here in Yerevan. And here's another park with a big statue, so presumably that's another Soviet statue, because the Soviets loved big statues. So I think that's Komitas, the statue over there. And yes, it's Soviet, but only just about. You can see there a few people enjoying the sunshine and just relaxing, and I quite like these green spaces in the middle of a city next to a busy roundabout. Even the dog is having fun. Let me tell you about religion here in Armenia. Armenia is actually the oldest Christian country in the world. And the national church of Armenia is the Armenian Apostolic Church. And there's the summer festival here in Armenia and in Yerevan called Vardavar, which falls on the 14th Sunday after Easter, so in July. Because it's such a hot time of the year as well, people just throw buckets of water over each other or spray each other with water guns or water hoses. And obviously it's also a festival where people unite and come together. And certainly I think it's summer. If you want to visit Yerevan, that might be something to come and check out. But here's some direction for us again. So you can see that's the Armenian language up there, so quite distinct. Yeah, I think that's the Opera and Ballet Academy. Or at least that's what my map says over there. So interesting building. There's a bench in the street where you can sit, and just confirmation of where we are. So they love coffee and they love music here in Yerevan. Grammy Cafe. Not only music in the traditional sense, but also music from lawnmowers and lots of people, as you saw earlier as well, cleaning and making the city look pretty, and maybe even preparing for the summer months. So well done, Yerevan. Right, so I think we're here at French Square, where you can now see the Opera and Ballet building in its full glory. Don't know who that is. I bet he knows opera and ballet. There are some bumper cars, and why not? This is a great place to do that. It's quite a spacious square. You can see this car takes no nonsense. It's injured, but it's still going strong. Right guys, I think this is Northern Avenue, which is where the la-di-da of Yerevan hangs out. Lots of smart shops and high-end shops. And very modern buildings because it's a very modern street. So according to my research, it was completed in 2007. So relatively modern. Needless to say, we are in central Yerevan, which is also called Kentron. Wow, look at this. The European Weightlifting Championships will be in Yerevan. These were popular in Georgia as well, weren't they? People in the Caucasus seem to love this form of transport. Yeah, what does that say? Rosgostrak, Armenia. And there you can see some of the shops around here. You can come and get your portrait done here. Some TV interview perhaps. Yeah, again, just notice how nicely people in Yerevan dress. As a first impression, absolutely that's something that will stick with me. Residential buildings, I presume, and business-like buildings. Yeah, I wonder how much it costs to rent an apartment or a flat there. Maybe something only the Kardashians and co can afford. But the rest of us can only dream. I would like to have an apartment here though. There's Burger King, but in the Armenian language. And of course more people hard at work here in Yerevan. From what I understand is people in Yerevan and in Armenia work very hard. In fact, when we get to a flag of Armenia, I'll explain to you a little bit about that because it is represented on the flag as well. Here's the hotel with the name of the avenue, North Avenue. So here you got an Armenian flag. It's called the Armenian tricolor, and you can see three colors there: red, blue and apricot. And I love that they call it apricot. So let me tell you a little bit about the colors. The red is probably the more confusing one because there's a few ways in which it is interpreted. Some say that it's to do with the Armenian highlands, the people of the Armenian highlands. Others say it's to do with the continued struggle for freedom here in Armenia. Others say that it's to do with maintaining the Christian faith. When it comes to the blue, the consensus is very much that it has to do with the peaceful blue skies, although not today here in Armenia. It's not entirely blue now, it's a bit cloudy and overcast, but anyway. And then my favorite, the apricot, has to do with the talent and hard work of the Armenian people. So earlier when I mentioned lots of people doing work here in the city, making sure the flower beds are well maintained, planting new flowers for summer, the talent and hard work of the Armenian people are represented by the apricot. That's fantastic. I'm actually going to check out a bit of a shopping downstairs, so let's go. Here we go. Looks like a pretty modern shopping mall. Flowers. Look at that. Clothes for kids. Oh, I love this. Look at this sweet wrapped in the Armenian flag. And I do love this white marble floor and beautiful flowers there. We can go and sit and take your photo. Cascade Street Mall. And yeah, we're exiting again to street level. Yeah, you can come and write a message or a letter to your future lover. I think this is for the woman. And then on this side, that's for the men to come and write. And just opposite here you got the symbolic key of Yerevan, or the key to Yerevan in the city, and more interesting sculptures. So I mentioned the sun has now gone into hiding behind those clouds, but it's not raining, which means we can continue our walk. Lovely area to walk around here. You hear a lot of jazz music as well here in Yerevan, so I think they do love music, but in particular it certainly sounds like they love jazz. Let's just cross this bit of a traffic here and I'll take you to Republic Square here, the main square in Yerevan. So here on Republic Square you got 5 buildings built from yellow and pink volcanic tuff. So there's number 1, there's number 2, there's number 3, there's number 4, and here's number 5. So the tuff is a type of rock made from volcanic ash, as I explained earlier. And you can see this one and this one are yellowish in color, and then you got the 3 buildings here in pink. So 1, 2 and 3 over there. I think that's the government house. If someone in the comments could confirm that for us, that would be great. I don't know what that is, and it says there that that is the Marriott Hotel. So I'll take it for that, that is what it is. And this one, I've read there that that is the National Gallery of Armenia, but I don't know what that one is. Right guys, I want to take you to Vernissage now, which is an open air market or a flea market here in Yerevan, where we will see hopefully some handmade Armenian goods and all other bits and bobs. So let's go. Here's another tourist office, which, yeah, looks pretty shut as well. But I do want to check out their beautiful map. So just to orient ourselves, we are here. And Vernissage. And we got the park here. And we got Vernissage. Looks like it's at the other end there. So let's just go and stroll a little bit there and have a casual, relaxing walk and experience. Cross-stone book with ornaments of a cross-stone carved in memory of Ararat over here, and all these other stones will of course have a different meaning, different significance. So yeah, lots of parks here in central Yerevan as well, where you can come and relax and get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Whoever planned the city of Yerevan, I think have done a good job. So maybe there's a Soviet angle to this as well, because the Soviets love to plan stuff, centrally planned economies. Later, after we've been to Vernissage over there, I will also take you to Abovian Street, which was the first planned street here in Yerevan, to get an idea of the Russian influence in the city. But for now, let's go to Vernissage. And that looks very, very interesting already from a distance. And it looks like a variety of stuff. You can see t-shirts and other trinkets. And again, yeah, lots of cars here in the city. Vernissage. Here's a fountain which can't wait to explode in summer. Maybe at the water festival. Lots of chess sets. Yeah, Armenia is a pretty good chess playing country as well. Lots of grandmasters from this part of the world. I mean, it's not got Notting Hill's level of busyness, Notting Hill in London, but it's pretty much as interesting as it is in the Portobello Road area. There's lots of stuff here to see. Oh, this is interesting, with scarves and bags. Food house here. Those ice creams look pretty good. And of course pomegranate juice, as is standard in this part of the world. And of course you got a lot more stuff over here as well. So if you're looking for a casual stroll and just want to browse interesting trinkets and ornaments, this is definitely your type of place. Interesting earrings as well, and rings. Over there, there's more bags. So what do you think of Yerevan so far? Let me know in the comments, as always. Be interested to hear your perspectives. I certainly like it, although then again I like most places I visit, so Conscious, that's something I always say, but I really do like it here. There's certainly a lot of interesting stuff here at Vernissage. Love the history of Armenia. Loved the Cascade Complex we were earlier. Love all the statues and the green areas, the parks. Love the way people dress. I love the architecture. Very distinct architecture. So, very glad that I came to Yerevan. And I think you should too, when you get the chance. More chess sets over here. They are very beautifully carved, in fact. Look at the pomegranate for sale there, and the Matryoshka dolls, Russian dolls, over there as well. And Armenian older dolls by the looks of it. And these some Armenians. Pomegranate keychain. And here's some beautiful paintings. And all the older gentlemen wear black shoes, and most of them are well polished as well. And here I am with my trainers that are certainly not polished. In fact, they still have the Azerbaijan mud from the mud volcanoes. So I don't know what would be more frowned upon in Yerevan, my dirty trainers or the fact that they've got the Azerbaijan mud on them. I think it's time for some lunch, so let's go check out what they've got over here. Armenian cool drinks. What Fantas have they got? Ice creams. I'll try one of the pies, I think. Hello. Can I take these, the pies here?
Cheese.
Is cheese and which and meat? Is there a meat as well?
Meat, cheese. Meat, cheese, cheese.
Okay, thank you. Can I get one cheese and one meat cheese, please? Yes, thank you. You okay with a photo? It's okay, thank you. Yes. Yeah. Oh, it looks very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Right, so got some street food here. A cheese pie and then a meat and cheese pie. So let's go and see what it tastes like. It's almost like that bench is telling me to go there. Like it was made for me to have a bit of a break. Here next to the Vernissage market. Living the dream, eh? Here in Yerevan. Right. And I think now is also a good time to tell you about the currency, the Armenian drum. So you got the 200 coins here. 1 British pound is just over 480 Armenian drum. And here you've got the notes as well, 1,000 and a 5,000. So the 1,000 there, that's just over £2. And at the back as well there. Meat and cheese from the inside there. So for another taste. It's definitely like a meat-filled croissant, but maybe a lot more pastry. And very, very nice. I do like trying the street food in places when I go, because that's usually where the locals shop as well, so you know that you won't pay a tourist price, and you know that for the locals, well, that's the reason that these street stands exist, don't they? To feed the local people. The cafes and the restaurant, they exist to feed the la-di-da and the tourists. And occasionally the working people. So when you go traveling, don't be afraid to try the street food here in Yerevan or in other places. So much pastry. I probably got some pastry on my face as well, but it's so good. I will save this cheese one maybe for later, but it certainly looks like it's a lot of pastry as well. I'm just walking back through Vernissage again. These banana boxes, I've noticed, are popular stands or support for tables, etc. here in the Caucasus. Remember the chess match I played against the Georgian gentlemen? Those were also banana boxes, so that's another impression that is maybe a little bit left field, but yeah, there you go. And some more stuff for sale here. They're not priced, so it looks like you'll need to enter into negotiations, but I'm still tired from Tunisia, so I won't be buying anything today. More snacks here, but this is more of a tourist kind, not the stuff we had earlier. The place we had our pastries at, that was where the locals buy their stuff, not the tourists. Beautiful colors. Music and books on this side. Handcrafted socks or slippers from wool, very nice. Some headgear and beautiful carpets. It's amazing that you can actually hear the sounds of birds in this park, because Republic Square is just on the other side there, and there are loads of traffic in that part of town. In fact, as you'd expect from around the central square of a city, there will always be noise. And I just heard one car honking, but you can hear the birds here. Police taking a break as well. There's a big police presence, as you would expect in any part where the government buildings are, or the central part of town. There, a sculpture of a person, looks like they dressed in the flag, although the red is a bit faded, looks more like pink volcanic tuff. And then you got the blue and the apricot. And what a beautiful day here in Yerevan, with the sun teasing us behind the clouds there. So absolutely loving this walk here in Yerevan. Hope you are too. And there in front you got the entrance, or an entrance to one of the Yerevan metro stops. And I think there's only one line in Yerevan, but takes you to all the important places apparently. And some more examples of architecture here in the city. Here you got the Squirrel supermarket. Definitely a Soviet feel in the city. Maybe even more so than in Tbilisi in parts, or Baku for that matter. So no idea what that is, but a picture sometimes gives away the answer, doesn't it? In the second line, does that say Olympic? I don't know, you certainly have Olympic boxing represented here on this one. Olympic rings here. So yeah, Olympic boxing school. With some of the great boxers and modern boxers they've had. Olympic boxing school here in Yerevan. Lots of flowers also for sale here in Yerevan. Something else I've noticed. Let's get a feel for the volcanic tuff. Certainly feels pretty solid. So it's a type of volcanic ash, or volcanic ash that turned into rock. It's almost amazing to think. And a pretty Soviet sign, isn't it? So it's kind of like a weird feeling walking here, like many buildings look similar, but then they also don't, in a weird way. They all sort of send their own energy off. Maybe it's because there's clothing shops in this one, that this one just feels a bit more posh than some of the other ones, but it's essentially the same stone. Yeah, lots of clothes shops. And there's some banks as well. So looks like we are back in the posh part of town. The Armenian version of Anton Goosen in South Africa. So only South Africans will get that joke, but nonetheless, let's continue. And yeah, I'm no geologist, but I'd like to go and read up a bit more about why some of the tuff looks yellow and others look pink. But if someone in the comments could already confirm for us, that would be great. Own yourself. Again, lots of flowers for sale. So smartly dressed people, flowers, lots of coffee shops, interesting buildings. What's not to like? Absolutely great city to visit. And look at this advertising board here and the different mosaics. And I have to rush here because the green man is turning red. Oh, we made it. So we are here in Abovian, and yes guys, we are now in Abovian Street, also formerly known as Astavian Street. And why is it significant? Well, in 1855 the Russian Viceroy of the Caucasus confirmed the planning of streets in Yerevan, and this was the first street that was planned, and I believe they decided on 20 meters, but I'm not sure about that fact again. So if anyone could confirm, that would be great. Yeah, so on the corner here of Abovian and Tumanyan Street. Now I do love the street names. Obviously for me, as someone who's not from here, they are very interesting sounding. Interesting works of art there. Beautiful trees. Nice looking buildings, high-end shops again, or nice clothes shops, nice coffee shops. So Yerevan just continues to surprise around every corner, I have to say. There are so many places I just need to come back, and I think this is one of them. And again, around every corner there's something that surprises you. So look at this. Works of art. I wonder what if it's a purpose behind it, or if it's just for aesthetic value. It looks like something you can put in your garden, perhaps. Beautiful lights, colorful lights. I reckon so far Abovian Street is probably my favorite, from what I've seen at least. Really do like the vibe here. And gosh, just look at that. That's a residential building, but looks pretty crammed, I think is the word I'm looking for. Ice cream stand here in the city. And oh gosh, wow. This is incredible. Look at this church. Beautiful, beautiful church. So Yerevan 2800. They had a festival here celebrating the 2800 year anniversary. And you can do the calculations yourself. I mentioned to you earlier how old Yerevan is. So I think the map says that is St. Anna Church. And I've tried to get some information here, but hey, I am not going to try and pronounce any of the stuff here. Certainly no English signs here, but what a beautiful, beautiful church. Beautiful detail there as well. You can go and light a candle. Ah yes, in front here, that's the puppet theatre. Someone at the hostel told me I should watch out for. It's quite unique. Give you an idea of some of the art here, some of the shows you can come and watch here. Yeah, I mean, some of them look pretty scary. Look at this one. And they're all in Armenian. And maybe that makes them even more scary. Like a horror movie that you can't understand a word in. Similar kind of thing. If you've seen a show in the Puppet Theatre here in Yerevan, let us know how it is. 'Cause I bet it is one of the highlights to do here as well in the city. I'm just stopping for a smoothie. I'm going to have a strawberry lime banana here at the Coffee and Music. There's my smoothie. That's amazing, thank you very much. I just bought myself a smoothie and it cost 1,200 Armenian dram. Yeah, I guess when you do the conversion, it's not the cheapest of Armenian drinks you'll buy, but it looks pretty fresh. And as a travel tip, I always tell people, if you want to get your minerals and vitamins up, drink smoothies. It's better than buying lots of fruit at the supermarket, and you can get a non-sugar one like I did here, and it's very refreshing, especially if you do a lot of walking like I do. And it's much better than carrying around lots of fruit and vegetables. So although this does look pretty good as well, doesn't it? Pink berry ice cream. But yeah, back here on Abovian Street, and I want to get to the hotel, which is another place of interest on the map. Let's do the smoothie taste first. So yeah, perfect, nice and thick. They put ice in it as well, so it's nice and cold and very refreshing. Here's to Yerevan. And I've noticed these entrances to the car parks, there's always some interesting graffiti here at the entrances. So I don't know if it's a deliberate attempt to beautify places, although in this case someone else tried to mark their territory in a different way. And maybe over here as well, at least they've got a bit of colour, together with the beautiful trees and the green spaces. More nice coffee shops and restaurants as well. The sun is really playing games with us today. It was nice and sunny just 5 seconds ago, and now it's overcast again. Here are some medalists from Armenia who's done Armenia proud. Ah, and here we go. I think this is a theatre, Moscow, Mokba. Got some mini bars and other coffee shops around here, and a beautiful fountain. Yeah, even though it's not in operation and perhaps could do with a bit of TLC, it's still very beautiful. Look at the sculptures. And over here, I think that's the Grand Hotel. The Grand Hotel here in Yerevan. There's more of the shops here on Abovian Street. You got a nice ice cream shop again. Looks like Armenians like ice cream a lot. And they also like jazz music a lot, clearly. And there's some of the puppets or the handmade dolls we saw in vernissage. This is Pushkin Street, which is where my hostel is in, straight down, obviously named after the Russian literary giant. Bit of a tongue twister. Just walking back to the hostel. See nice shoe shops, clothing shops and restaurants. Lots of flowers again. And opposite the road, architecture that never ceases to amaze. I'm actually quite amazed at how relaxed the city is. Yes, only just over 1 million people, but sometimes smaller cities, if they are not properly planned, can be very, very difficult to navigate. But it's clear that Yerevan has been planned to perfection. Again, many restaurants, many coffee shops, clothes shops here in Yerevan. Lots of colors, Notice people also wear a lot of colourful clothes here in Yerevan. I mean, give you an idea of how quiet it is. This is actually a traffic jam, but no one's making any noise. So everything happening smoothly, it seems. Maybe if you're a local, you've got a different experience, but this is certainly my first impression of the place. Seems to run smoothly. Right. Oh, there's a Union Jack. That's interesting. And check out this work of art here on the corner of Pushkin Street. So this is an artwork made entirely of old bottle caps. And it says there that this street art is a gift for Armenian American playwright and short story writer William Soroyan's 113th birthday anniversary. 31 August 2021. And very, very good, very unique. And next to it there, we dance together, we fight together. That's interesting. And some more art over here. Right guys, this is my single room in the hostel. You can see there, nice bed and a nice view here of Yerevan. A nice plant, and on this side some space for my coats where I can hang it. The bathroom over here. You can see there's the loo, wash basin, hello everyone, and the shower. So you have a cost of a room is 19,000 Armenian dram per night, so 57,000 for 3 nights. So a little bit more expensive than what I paid in Azerbaijan and in Georgia. And also on the wall here you got some poems from, I think, Vahan Terian, if I've pronounced that correct, a Armenian poet. And there's one about Ararat. Earthbound but soaring, floating, piercing the blue fog. You are an angel winged in light. You are not matter, you are flight and spirit of the Armenian world. That's how important Mount Ararat is here. Some other things I want to show you here. So this is another tip if you go traveling. Get yourself some 3-in-1 classics to make a coffee at a hostel. And here's another tip for you guys. This Nokia phone I've had for many years now is a phone that has got the best reception in any country that you can imagine. So get yourself a spare phone when you go traveling. This is my spare phone. Just for emergencies, you just never know when you're going to need a spare phone. And Nokias, believe it or not, in my view, are the absolute best to have as spare phones. And here is Georgia's spoon, of course, the spoon I brought with me from Tbilisi. Perfect for making a coffee in a youth hostel, but I don't need it today because there are cutlery downstairs. Yeah, just time for a quick coffee in the hostel, and this is the common area. You can see there coffees and teas that you can use. But the reason I recommend the 3-in-1 is obviously if you drink milk in your coffee, you'll have milk. And this is nice, an old iron board that they've turned into a desk, and a map of the world, and there's South Africa. And check out some of the towns that feature here on the map in Armenia. Bitterfontein and Hotazel. Well, if you're from South Africa, you will know that those places aren't the biggest, so perhaps surprising that they're on the map. Yo, guys, I just came back from a coffee downstairs, and look, the heavens have opened. So unfortunately I'm going to have to wait a bit before we explore a bit more. And yeah, it's really pelting down now, so how lucky I was just to explore a bit earlier with no rain. That's it for now, guys. I think this is where I'll end my video. In the next vlog we'll be exploring more of Yerevan, but in the meantime, if you haven't done it yet, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment for me in the comment section. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon. Traveling is fantastic. Certainly is.